action. Oh, that's me. So this is something really cool that we don't see a lot, and you don't see a lot. I know, because I've seen what you've seen, because, you know, and I know you haven't seen one of these, because this is a Fender Custom, which is made of old parts. Okay, follow along. Fender made a 12-string guitar. Here, I'm going to have the camera choose in on that, far left, far right. There is a 12-string guitar. And you guys have probably all seen that. Honestly, that's what the guitar that recorded Stairway to Heaven. But they didn't really sell. Rickenbacker ruled the roost when it came to 12 strings, and by the late 60s, CBS had bought Fender, and they're like, you know what, let's try to do something with all these extra necks. They'd already cut the necks, and so what they did is the 12 string, just like the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster, were bound in dots, and then there were blocks in binding, so they took these block inlays, bound neck, and they made them into a 6-string, because, you know, those sell. And then they took the 2 Mustang pickups, that's what you find on a 12-string guitar, and they're hum canceling, so this is kind of cool. And then they took a Mustang bridge. What's interesting is all of these are always black on the back, because they filled in the 12-string holes that they cut in the body. And then a guy at the factory, I forget his name, Schmitty, whatever his name was, he had actually reshaped the cut down here. So you get this kind of cutaway at the end, right there, and then the horn is shortened a bit, and voila, you've got a Fender Custom, which later they decided to call it a Maverick because it sounded more commercial than custom. They showed this in the catalog, you know, as being a Fender Custom as a thing, but they didn't sell that many because, you know, Jimi Hendrix didn't play one, and people just weren't used to buying this type of thing from Fender. I got it from a guy that likes the fact that it's got a little wider neck, and it does. It's got a slightly, I think it's 1 5/8. It's got a little bit wider, a little bit bigger neck. And then it has this 5-way switch, which does a lot to put it in and out of phase. It's actually a nice, full, rich sounding guitar. I think a lot of guys would appreciate the fact that some of those out of phase sounds work for them. That thin out of phase sound can work well in a recording. You hear it a lot in R&B recordings, that kind of nasally out of phase. No, not that. It's a cool sound, and hum canceling, because these coils are split. They're phase reversal, so they are hum canceling. Same thing as a Mustang is also hum canceling. And actually in 1969, that phase reversal and that 5-way switch was kind of advanced electronically for its age. You think about Gibson guitars, they didn't do any phase switching really. They accidentally switch magnets now and then, but they didn't really have much in the way of electronics. This was Fender's realm, and it's really a neat guitar. Very, very few of them exist. We got this from the original owner, and he was used to playing large neck guitars in his regular day gig. He did Mexican music, and he had a lot of Mexican guitars, he told me, and he had these really big necks, so this appealed to him. It's not a huge neck, but it is a little bigger, just like a 12-string might be. Some of these these have laminated backs and sides on the headstock, so they'll put a bit of lamination on it. Best I can tell, this does not. It was never drilled for a 12 string, and then they would, you know, they drilled the extra holes for the 12 string back here. Blank neck, they would then put a sheet on here and a laminate on the front, and then they would simply use the 6 strings. This was drilled originally as a 6-string guitar, which is unusual. A lot of these had necks that are stamped 60s, and it's a really great neck. It's a really interesting guitar. Above that, it's one of those collectibles that you kind of got to have. It's just such a unique thing, and granted, Hendrix didn't play one, Clapton didn't play one, none of the influential guys. I'd be interested if you know anybody famous that did play one of these. This is offered to you, one owner, 100% original, all set up. We restrung it, a little heavier string, and I am playing, by the way, through a 1971 tail logo Fender Princeton amp. Notice I didn't say reverb. It is a Princeton amp, period. And this is, I love these amps because they're a little lighter weight, they're a little warmer, a little sweeter than the reverb amplifiers. Some guys have to have reverb, I get that. But this is, I'm not a reverb guy, so an amp like this is just great because of its weight. We've got it at about 5, here it is at about 9. Really cool ducky guitar, perfect for your collection. We believe are the cheapest one of these. There's some out there that are refinished in the 45 range. This is presented to you for 4,500 bucks, and it has an original case, and it's all been set up and tweaked out. And there is my video on something I bet you've never seen before, and that is a Fender Custom before it was called the Fender Maverick. Okay?